Chapter 3. The unkind outcome of the former pastor in Philippi. I am pastor. Oh, the exuberance of a very term, Reverend Eusebius. One of the Philippians called me Dr. Eusebius the other day. It sounded so good. Dr. Eusebius. I was exuberant, thinking how it would look in Doric lettering on the church sign. What joy there is in being pastor. But some of the joy I would otherwise feel is blunted by the remembrance of my predecessor, Quartus. I watched one of the members with a bucket of white paint taking his name off the church sign last week. Is it hard to erase the memory, as is the name? I asked our church sign painter. Oh no, he said. Third time I painted out a pastor's name this decade. Did you like Quartus? Was he a good pastor? I asked. Yes, but he crossed Coriolanus. I heard his daughter wanted to be a deaconess, and Quartus refused. I said nothing, but swallowed hard. The sign painter continued. Quartus wasn't really his name, you know. His name was Cato, but it gets easier to call your pastor by a number rather than by a name. Tertius came before him. What was his real name? I asked. Can't recall. He only lasted 7 months. Thrown to the lions, I asked, almost preferring that Tertius had been devoured by lions rather than by Coriolanus. No, that would have been easier. No, we all heard that Coriolanus didn't like a certain sermon Tertius preached against rich Christians who tried to buy preeminence. He reminded the rich that while they might buy position in this church, it was not for sale in heaven. He picked an unfortunate text for his sermon. Text. What? I asked. Thy money perish with thee. I swallowed hard. Maybe I should have gone to Arabia, I thought to myself. 7 months, huh? I asked when I'd regained my composure. What happened to the pastor before him? Secundus? Yeah, Secundus. Well, let's see. That was the split led by Demetrius, because Coriolanus wanted to be the moderator and Secundus preferred otherwise. The sign painter looked at me. How did you know? He asked. Do you have the gift of prophecy? No, I replied, but I can sometimes see trends. Trends? Never mind. Just tell me about Quartus, my immediate predecessor. How did he escape Coriolanus' struggle to have his daughter elected deaconess? Well, he looked very tired just before the business meeting, when he would have been ousted as pastor. He was solid on the point. He would not permit Coriolanus' daughter to be crowned. He wanted out. He was tired of the church and Coriolanus' congregational briberies. So he went through a big crowd on the Lupercal, singing hymns to the praise of Christ. That was foolhardy. Was he arrested? Immediately, and thrown to the lions the very evening the church met to consider his dismissal. Things being what they were, some considered a nice way to go, to be with our Lord. Many of Coriolanus' camp said it was a coward's way out, but Quartus was not much of a fighter, I'm afraid. By this time he'd painted out the name of my predecessor. As he walked away, I asked him where he was going. To the marketplace to get another ewer of whitewash, he said. You can't afford to get low on white paint in this church. I've got to keep the sign in good shape. All the names current. I was disenchanted as I saw him walk away. I've been most popular here in my first few weeks. Surely I have nothing to fear, I thought. The fates of Secundus and Tertius and Quartus will never be mine, I reasoned, as the sign painter left. When he was all but out of sight, he turned and called out, Eusebius, would it be all right if I call you Quintus?